Welcome to Children's Fairy Tales. Today's story will be about Lulu's river adventure from Lulu's Stories. Lulu hopped through the forest, enjoying the warm sunshine. She reached the sparkling river, where fish danced in the clear water. Birds sang happily in the trees. But something was different. Floating leaves and strange objects drifted in the water. Lulu's nose twitched. The air smelled different, not fresh like before. She tilted her head, wondering what had changed. The river had always been clean and bright. Now the water looked dull. Lulu's heart felt heavy. She knew something was wrong. Lulu moved closer to the riverbank. She saw pieces of paper, sticks, and even shiny wrappers floating in the water. The fish swam around them, confused. Lulu's ears drooped. The river was not safe anymore. She watched a small turtle struggle to move past the floating mess. Lulu felt a deep sadness. She wanted to help. Looking around, she noticed the wind carrying leaves and tiny bits of paper from the forest floor into the water. Lulu wondered where all this had come from. Lulu decided to explore. She followed the river upstream, her paws making soft sounds on the damp soil. The trees grew taller, their leaves whispering in the wind. Lulu saw more objects stuck between rocks. The once clear water carried bits of waste. She reached a spot where animals gathered. A deer drank from the river, unaware of the small floating pieces nearby. Lulu's heart ached. She had to find a way to fix this. But how? Lulu sat by the river, thinking the water had always been pure. Why was it changing? She looked around and noticed a squirrel dropping nutshells near the water. Further ahead, a group of birds pecked at food, leaving scraps behind. The wind carried everything into the river. Lulu realized that small things could make a big difference. If animals were more careful, the river would stay clean. But could she teach them? Lulu's mind raced with ideas. Lulu decided to act. She picked up a leaf and placed it far from the water's edge. She carefully pushed twigs away from the riverbank. It was a small start, but it felt right. As she worked, a butterfly fluttered by, landing on a flower. Lulu watched it sip nectar. The butterfly took only what it needed and left no mess behind. Lulu smiled. Nature had balance. Maybe she could help restore it. Lulu continued clearing the riverbank, moving leaves and twigs away from the water. She found a broken eggshell and placed it under a tree. As she worked, a gentle breeze blew past. Lulu noticed something important. The wind carried light objects easily. That meant keeping things far from the river would stop them from drifting in. Lulu's eyes sparkled with determination. She needed a bigger plan. Lulu observes the animals in the forest. A family of rabbits eats grass neatly, leaving no waste. Birds carefully build nests with twigs. But some animals, like squirrels and ducks, accidentally scatter food scraps close to the river. Lulu's nose twitches as she wonders how to teach them to be more careful. She stands among the greenery, watching the wildlife closely. Lulu works on setting an example. She gathers leaves and twigs, making sure they are far from the river. A curious hedgehog watches her from a distance, sniffing the ground. It then picks up a small piece of bark and moves it away. Lulu smiles as she realizes her efforts are being noticed. The trees behind her sway gently. Lulu sees a family of ducks waddling toward the river, leaving bits of food behind. She carefully moves the scraps away from the water. The ducks tilt their heads, watching her. A nearby squirrel hesitates before dropping a nutshell, then decides to carry it farther into the trees. Lulu's gentle approach is making a difference. The forest is coming together. Lulu stands near the river, watching as a group of rabbits gathers leaves far from the water. Birds carry twigs to safer places. The wind still blows, but now there is less debris. The river looks clearer, and Lulu's heart fills with happiness. She watches with pride as nature restores its balance. Lulu sits by the river, gazing at the sparkling water. Fish swim freely again, and the air smells fresh. She stretches her white paws, feeling proud. The background shows the lush forest, filled with animals who have started taking care of their surroundings. Lulu smiles. knowing that even small actions can lead to big changes. Lulu continues her daily walks by the river, making sure it stays clean. She watches the wind carry tiny leaves, learning how nature moves things. The animals seem more mindful now. The river flows peacefully, reflecting the golden sunlight. Lulu stands on the riverbank, feeling a deep sense of accomplishment. Lulu notices a tiny green sprout near the riverbank. She carefully moves it to a safer spot. Over time, the sprout grows into a strong plant. Birds rest in its shade, and butterflies dance around its flowers. Lulu watches with joy, realizing that care and patience always bring something beautiful in return. Lulu rests in the soft grass, listening to the gentle flow of the river. She watches animals moving around, all being careful not to disturb the balance of nature. The water remains clear, and the forest feels peaceful. Lulu's heart is full as she enjoys the harmony around her. The river sparkles under the golden sun. Lulu takes one last look before happily hopping away into the green forest. She knows that there will always be ways to help nature. Today, the river flows freely, and that is enough. Lulu's heart feels light as she bounds into the trees, ready for her next adventure. Thank you for watching. See you in the next story.